So something terrible actually did just go down.
I'm here. Everybody says somebody needs to help her. I don't know what to do though. So if anybody has any suggestions.
This is a stranger. I laugh and talk to myself all day. Nick.
Yes.
Nicholas. How happy are we?
So happy.
Isn't it so weird that the world insists on seeing me as white? I grew up in a black neighborhood. I was actually the only white girl in my neighborhood outside of my sisters. Get the fuck out of my house, now! Now! Now!
Oh my God, Gabby. Why? It's like every 2 to 3 years, I hear this name. I see it. Literally haunts me in my nightmares. This name has to come up on my timeline in some sort of way. I don't know what I do to deserve it. I don't know what I do to warrant it. Hey, what's up, you guys? We are back again with another video. I just want to put a quick shout out to everybody that's been following and subscribing to my channel recently. I really appreciate it. The fact that so many people care about my critical thought, my critical analysis on certain issues, it's good to see. It's great to see. Let's hope YouTube doesn't delete my ass again. Now, before we get into this topic of today with Gabbie Hanna, the bane of my existence on TikTok recently, I just want to put a quick 2 cents. No hate towards Gabby, especially considering the main theme of this whole thing is to do with mental illness, mental health. I'm not trying to put any hateful aura towards her or anything in that way or trying to send hate towards her, but I just want to remind people that if we're going to be sensitive to certain parties involved in this whole situation, we need to be sensitive to everybody involved. And I feel like I just needed to put my 2 cents on it because I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about it and it's really annoying me. So without further ado, let's get into this nightmare of Gabbie Hanna. Now, she's not new to social media. She's never been new to social media. If you've been on YouTube, I've been on YouTube since like 2014. In terms of watching it, in terms of creating on it, Gabbie Hanna is very much a known creator, especially in different ways. Whether some people like her music, some people are into her books, some people are into her memes. I'm sure you've seen a few of them.
So what if I'm the monster?
Let's just say Gabby is just no secret or no newbie when it comes to posting on social media. Let's just say she's no stranger to TikTok either, because God, she has been clogging up the For You page. As in, guys, I'm not even joking you. I don't even follow this girl. I don't even follow this woman. And she came up on my For You page at least 10 times within the time span of like an hour. A couple days ago, Gabbie Hanna was rapidly, massively posting on TikTok. A good 10 TikToks per hour. She posted a good 200 TikToks that day. 200 TikToks. That's a lot. But of course, the TikToks themselves were raising a few eyebrows because they were quite concerning. Only because she just wasn't making a lick of sense in any of them. Now, it's been brought to my attention that Gabby has bipolar disorder. Now, coming from someone who has friends with bipolar disorder, that has grown up with people with bipolar disorder in my own personal life, I've definitely seen this type of mania before. Me personally, I don't have that type of disorder, but I can at least recognize when someone's going through it. People are speculating, which is now I'm gonna assume which has now been confirmed, that she has been going through this mania manic episode that has just created her to post a lot of TikToks, and with those TikToks, post a lot of things that do not make a lick of sense within those TikToks. The things that she has been talking about has been ranging from God, biblical scripture. It started from that, and then it's also gone to things like race, talking about color, nationality. It's just very muddled up.
Hey TikTok, hey Gen Z, I got a question for you, because I can't sleep. But I can see, why are you so accepting of the idea of dissociative identity disorder, where little kids decide that they can switch personalities whenever they want, and they all have different names and wear different clothes, and they have their own little room in the house that you built in your mind, and here's how you get to it. I feel like someone else now. Did you fucking meditate and create something with your imagination? It's almost as if you create your own reality. And because you don't have faith in God, and because you didn't just say, God, I'm kind of fucking scared, I believe in you. Will you please only allow me to see what you want me to see? Please only allow me to hear the truth.
Of course, for things like bipolar disorder and things like mania, I am aware that a lot of the things that you do say when you're in this manic state, you might not necessarily believe it when you're actually in a normal state of mind and in a composed state of mind. You might not naturally actually think these things. Of course, it's just the mania making you say these outlandish things. I absolutely understand that. I cannot imagine what is going through her head right now, especially considering that a stranger decided to break into her house while she was in this crazy manic state. Guys, I actually cannot, but it literally felt like I was in some sort of documentary. I don't understand as to how I was able to see this on my For You page. It felt staged, but I know it wasn't. So everybody's getting upset, getting kind of worried over Gabby because she's posting all these videos, these really strange, outlandish videos onto social media for millions of people to see. Her videos were getting like 2-3 million, but her engagement was really low. So she was getting like 500 to 1,000 likes because people were just concerned. They were watching what she was doing and was just confused. So everybody is now calling LAPD or wherever she lives to try and get someone to help her, maybe welfare checks, just to get something. So people have just been trying to get her some help. It's just become a very public outcry. So naturally though, I don't know how and I don't know where this person thought it would be okay to do this, but a guy named Nick tricked himself into Gabbie Hanna's home in the facade of trying to help her and to try and give her some comfort or give her her medication. You borderline broke and entered into someone's home, my guy. That's what you did. I literally cannot understand how anybody is in any way rectifying or excusing this behavior. This is why I say the internet is crazy. The internet is actually mad, because if you guys think that at any point in time that is normal behavior for a stranger to, first of all, guys, you entered her home under false pretenses. You entered her home under false pretenses.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Think you can use your bathroom?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you.
Hey, there's fine. What's your name?
My name's Nick.
Nick?
Nice to meet you.
Outside of Gabbie Hanna's house.
Why do you ride like you're running out of time?
Saying that you wanted to use the bathroom. Red flag, red flag, red flag. First of all, there's absolutely, from that moment on, there's absolutely nothing you can say that will make me feel like you did not do this for clout. There is nothing you can say. This guy was filming her home. This guy was walking around filming each room like an absolute weirdo. Like, can you imagine? And this guy was trying to say that he was trying to help her. Help where? Where's the help? Can you locate it for me? I can't see it. Where, in what rhyme or reason were you helping her by filming her home and putting that on the internet? Do you know how much of a security risk that poses onto her? Genuinely, especially in this climate, this disgusting world that we're all living in, this climate that you want to be posting her home onto social media for bad mind people to see. Guys, people in the comments were even actively saying this guy is so sketchy. And of course, Gabby, she's literally in a manic state. It's not really her fault. She isn't going to be able to cognitively see that what's happening is wrong. Well, she was able to see it in the end, but the fact that this person basically used this as an excuse to just bombard this person's home, knowing that this person is in a manic state, going through a genuine breakdown, that is bad mind. That is evil. Terrifying how people can take advantage of you when you're in that type of state. I don't know how you could sleep at night.
By the way, Nick.
Yes.
I know you know who I am. Come on. Why did you lie to me this whole time? Why did you lie to me? That's for my acne, you dumb cunt. Get the fuck out of my house, now. Now. Now!
In this retrospect, I cannot feel anything but sorry for Gabby because I feel like she genuinely just needs help. This false help, throw it in the bin. Stop lying. Don't sit here on social media. Don't sit here on Beyonce's internet and lie to people through your teeth that you're coming to help the social media influencer whilst filming her home and putting it on the internet. You just wanted content, my guy. You wanted content. And this guy grew like, I'm not gonna put his at anywhere in this video because I'm not gonna give him the clout that he wants. He so desperately wants, I'm not gonna give. He gained from within a day from 0 followers to over 50K. Just because he broke and entered into a mentally ill person's home. You're gonna put that on your CV? Is that something for you to be proud of? I don't actually understand. Everybody is losing their minds. People are making video after video saying someone needs to actually go to this woman's house and get some help because this is actually terrifying how she's just letting strangers into her house. I don't know what it was, but Gabby came to her senses almost and was able to kick the guy out of her house as she rightly should have. Weirdo. Absolute weirdo. When I saw her kick him out, I was like, I wanted to cheer on for her. Absolutely. Get that weirdo out of your house. So, up until that point, honestly guys, up until that point, I wanted to say that I was team Gabbie Hanna. I wanted, because at the end of the day, what I see it is as someone is literally taking advantage of your mental illness, which in no retrospect will that ever be okay. So obviously, up until that point, I was absolutely team Gabbie Hanna. Absolutely. But just as everything in life, the highs have to have the lows. I don't know why. Oh my God. I want to say this in the most sensitive way because I understand that she is having a manic episode. The same way how I can acknowledge certain perspectives in a situation, I feel like people need to do the same with other people. Walk with me, talk with me. You're gonna see what I mean in a second. So with this, Gabby is still posting like 20 TikToks an hour, literally she's just posting bears, no regulation. Followers are begging her to stop. The police are calling her, banging on her door, telling her to stop posting so many pictures, so many videos that that she's putting herself at more risk, whatever the hell. So everybody's just telling her to stop talking. She's not. So then obviously when you talk and talk and talk and talk, you're going to talk yourself into a hole eventually. So, what happens? Gabbie Hanna now comes up on TikTok and says this.
Hey guys, it's actually kind of stressful being a woman of color, a young woman of color, in a white as fuck rich cunty neighborhood. I grew up in a black neighborhood. I was actually the only white girl in my neighborhood outside of my sisters, but I rode the school bus alone. I was the only white girl on my school bus. And here's a bit of irony. They made me sit in the front. Isn't it so weird that the world insists on seeing me as white? Because if I was a woman of color, as I am, you might have to fucking repent for the way you mistreated us.
I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't know what it is. Why it is so many people's coming up story to allure to the point of bigotry. That is my question. Can someone actually give me a paragraph? And again, I want to be 100% understanding and 100% sensitive to the fact that this person is clearly suffering a mental breakdown. That's very clear what it is. In the exact same breath, however, can we for 2 seconds stop being so two-dimensional? For 2 seconds, can we stop being so two-dimensional and say just because that this person's having a mental breakdown, it excuses everything else? Just because someone's going through a mental breakdown doesn't mean that the effects of their actions, of their words, won't have a genuine effect on other people. That is where my issue is lying with this whole situation, because she has now just come up and said all these manners of things, unprovoked, put that on Beyonce's internet, and now you guys are getting upset with POC and black people when we want to raise our hands and say, hey, this is actually not okay, this is offensive. You guys want to get angry at us. You want to get angry at POC for getting upset when something has overtly been said regarding them. This is my issue. This is genuinely my issue.
Black neighborhood. I was actually the only white girl.
People will really be going through some mental health issues, some episode. First thing they'll say, fuck black people. It's like deep in their DNA. It doesn't matter what's going on here. Fuck blacks.
Absolutely, we can acknowledge the fact that she's going through a breakdown. Yes, of course, we can acknowledge that she's going through a breakdown, but why does that now have to excuse all of her actions? Why? Because now people are being blatantly anti-black in the comments, people being blatantly excusing these words, even though these words have an effect on very real people. Very real people. I said it on my old channel and I'll continuously say it here. Throughout all of this inflation, critical thought is free. It still remains free. Two things can be right at the same time. Two things can be right at the same time. She can be saying something. She could be going through a very legitimate mental breakdown, a mental illness. She can be going through nobody is saying that she's lying. Nobody is trying to undermine that, okay? You could be going through a very real mental illness and still be wrong. And still be in the wrong. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Two things can coincide. Two things. Because I know for a flipping fact, if she came onto TikTok and started saying anti-nationalist things, started saying F America and all these things, started to say, you know, absolutely crazy things, F Republicans, you guys would be losing your minds. You guys would actually be losing your heads. You'd be running around like headless chickens. You guys would actually be upset. But no, when it comes to POC or things like that, someone actively says something actively racist or actively offensive, you guys want to turn a blind eye and be like,
oh, you guys shouldn't be upset, you guys shouldn't be upset, you guys need to shut up, you guys need to relax, you guys need to relax.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? First of all, we're not even going to talk about, we're not even going to talk about, yeah? We're not going to talk about strangeness it is with so many of you lot having racism and bigotry in your coming up story. We're not going to talk about that. Because if I started to talk about it, you'd get upset. If I started to call you out right now, you would get upset. I'm not even talking to my followers. I'm not talking to my supporters, because my supporters know better than that. I'm talking directly to the people who have bigotry as their coming up story, who has racism, sexism, all of these things as their coming up story. Because was it not yesterday where I found out the Euphoria girl from Euphoria, the cat, the chubby girl, has a history of racism? That was yesterday that I found that out. That was yesterday. It's not normal to have a history of racism. I'm so sorry. I grew up in an all-white neighborhood. I went to mainly white schools. Predominantly white school. Yes, a handful of them were overtly racist, absolutely. A handful of them were overtly bigoted. Yeah, I'll put my hands up and say that, I won't lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. But at the exact same breath, I knew so many white people who were so lovely that would never even utter the N-word. I met so many white people. My best friend in there was white. Not a smidgen of bigotry in their blood. Like, just because you're white doesn't make you racist. If I can acknowledge that as a black woman, I can acknowledge that. Why can't you then acknowledge that it's not normal to have racism in your coming up story? Why can't you then acknowledge that? Some of you guys act as if it's so normal, to grow up and have that in your heart, to have anti-blackness in your heart. Some of you guys act like that's normal. That's not normal. To grow up thinking that you are better than a certain group of people, or to grow up with these harsh, disgusting stereotypes that have been used for centuries to dehumanize and belittle a whole group of marginalized people, that is not normal. That is not normal. So now let's apply this to the Gabbie Hanna situation. Why is it that so many times when when white influencers are going through a breakdown, right? They're going through a mental illness, they're going through a breakdown, not trying to undermine what she's going through here, but why is it that a part of the stepping stone system is to be overtly anti-black? That is the question. Yes, she's going through a mental whatever. I'm not, for the 1000th time, I'm not trying to take away from that. But the exact same time, my issue comes from now when you guys, the Gabbie Hanna stans, want to come towards POC, want to come towards the people who are offended by the things that she is saying, because just because you're going through something does not take away the harshness of your words. Why you guys think it's okay to come towards POC and be like, you guys should be quiet, she's going through it. Put your feelings to a side for this woman. That's what you guys are saying. Why aren't the feelings, the emotions, the outrage of black people, of marginalized groups, of POC, why isn't that ever acknowledged in situations like this? All of our emotions should just be tucked under the rug for this one influencer that's going through it. Let's put aside all the little black children, all the POC children that are watching her video and saying, why is she saying all these things? Let's say people who would go and defend Shane Dawson with his racist antics. Nobody wants to start and think about all the little kids that he has now put an impression on. The people who he is now teaching. The horrible rhetoric that he is spreading to children. Let's not care about what their emotions are. No, it's all to do with them. Critical thought is free. Two things can exist at the same time. Gabbie Hanna is going through it, absolutely. And I pray, #pray, I pray that she gets the help that she rightfully deserves. But at the exact same time, that does not take away all of the things that she is saying. She said things about multiple communities. She's offending the POC community, the black community, the DID community, because she started to say things about other mental illnesses. She started to say things about other mental illnesses. I'm not gonna sit here and start talking about DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk to stuff about that because I don't have a mental illness. I feel like it's wrong if I started to talk about it and started to act like I have it and stuff like that. But still, I can at the same time acknowledge that she is offending. She's literally offending a whole group of people who are struggling. But because she is going through it, we should all put everybody else's emotions under the rug, right? Right? How does that make sense? Whether it's Gabbie Hanna, Shane Dawson, Barbie Ferreira, whatever her name is, you guys' first instinct is to excuse racism. You guys literally like to play devil's advocate with the flipping devil. That's the people that you're deciding to employ. Gabby needs to get new locks for her house. She needs to get the right help. I don't know where these welfare people are, the welfare checks people. Like, I've been trying to keep up with them. People are saying how welfare is not actually doing their job. Welfare is actually not helping. I don't know where these welfare people are in America or how it even works, how the system works, but welfare needs to get on it. They're not doing their job, clearly. I'm not trying to completely penalize her. I'm really not trying to completely penalize Gabbie Hanna because, again, for the millionth time in this video alone that I have said, I am not trying to undermine her illness or her bipolar disorder. In no way am I trying to undermine it. There are people who actively are. There are people who are actively making fun of the fact that she's going through a mental breakdown right now and actively saying how it's absolutely hilarious how she's acting in this way. There are people who are actively undermining her mental illness. Do not bring me or group me with those type of people. I can acknowledge, again, I'm not a two-dimensional person. I can acknowledge the fact that she's going through it and how difficult that might be. But at the exact same time, just because I'm looking at that doesn't mean my brain cells have to disintegrate. Yeah? I can understand that, yes, she's going through it, but at the exact same time, that doesn't make anything of the things that she's saying okay. And the fact that you guys are so quick to defend those type of actions lets me know of the type of character you have. And it's disgusting. Stop excusing bigotry. Stop it. But yes, thanks for watching, guys. If you did like this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on my TikTok, which is where I found literally all of these flipping videos from. All of them. And of course, then follow me on my Instagram, because that'll be nice too. And of course, since you're here, you might as well subscribe. I want the best for Gabbie Hanna. I don't think I've said that enough in this video. I literally want everybody who's going through a mental illness to get the help that they deserve. I literally talk about it so much on my TikTok, how important mental health is. I am so painfully aware of that. But let's not lose our heads in the process of that. That's all I ask. Keep other people's thoughts and feelings in mind. The same way how you're trying to keep Gabbie Hanna, her thoughts and feelings in mind, do that for your fellow neighbor. Do that for your fellow neighbor. That's all I ask. Spread love and positivity, guys. Just spread it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you guys in the next one.